Hi guys. I'm just writing the like the you know what I'm talking about, like the title or whatever on here so I can pin it. But come on in. Come on in. This might be too long. Hold on. Medical. I know you made it, Desiree. Y'all, Desiree is gonna be on too. Okay, wait, she's in here. Hold on. How do I Hi guys, y'all are coming in here quick. Y'all was on time, honey. Let me find out.
Am I in, girl?
You're in. Oh wait, hold on. I missed my whole my whole comment. Hold on, so I can pin it.
Okay.
Now it's not letting me pin it. I feel like Teddy Riley. I did not want to get on here and be Teddy Riley.
About to turn around and look at you like this.
Girl, you are stupid. Hold on. Okay, well, I can't pin it. I don't really know. Can you see comments or no?
Yeah, I can see comments.
Okay, they're all over your face, so we'll just see how this goes for now as far as seeing you goes.
Oh, it's up right.
Okay, so how are you doing, friend?
I'm good, girl. I'm trying to make it in these streets.
Yes. Okay, well, I didn't know we was gonna come on like this.
Listen.
I mean, if you gonna do it.
Yeah, girl.
Yes. Okay, so for those of you coming in, this is basically what this is gonna be. Just what I need 2020 grad. Good. Congratulations, girl. This is basically what it's gonna be. Laughing and kicking and talking with my friends. I know I do feel like Teddy Riley for real. I was really worried because y'all know I'm a perfectionist anyway, so I was just like, I don't know how this is gonna go. But regardless, Lowe, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, perfect. So for those of you coming in, welcome. Today's live is all about SLP2B. So this whole series is a series that I'm doing for SLP2Bs, the ones who are interested in this career field, the ones who are about to start their journey, the ones who are about to start their CF, the ones who just graduated, anybody who's interested, basically, you want to learn a little bit more about it. If you don't know, I have a YouTube channel, and for the past 5 years, I've been talking about, literally, kind of since I met Lowe, I've been on Facebook. I mean, Facebook?
You too. You too.
I've been on YouTube. I've been on YouTube talking about our experience, well, my experience and the experiences she was a part of as well. Thank you. So yeah, I've been on there talking about it, and a lot of you guys have been on there literally since, and there's been so many messages that I get like, well, you would literally die. There's this one, like, not even one, but there's these messages that I get like, I've been watching you since I was an undergrad and I'm about to graduate. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm about to be a whole SLP. I'm like, dang, that is crazy.
It's crazy.
So it's literally followed me. So if you don't know about that, search it on YouTube, subscribe. But if you're here, you most likely know about it, and you're probably in an SLP program. So tell me where you fall in the chat. Like, where are you? Are you an undergrad? Are you are you a graduate in an SLP program? Like, tell me where you're at. Are you a CF? Like, what is it? Like, tell me what you're doing. Hey to everybody. I'm so glad y'all are in here. Okay. Either way, I'm excited and super excited to kick off the series with my fellow SLP friends. I'll start my master's in June, recent UCF. Okay, undergrads be showing up, honey. I'll tell you. Just finished my first year of grad school. Oh, congrats. That is an achievement. Undergrad last year and graduate undergrad. Yeah. SLP, oh my gosh, it's going kind of fast. USD, CSP at USF. Sorry, I'm getting mine. Third year undergrad, been subscribed for 3 years. Oh, I'm an old mother. Desiree, get out. I'm graduating undergrad, applying for grad school to get in for the fall. Cool. finishing 1 year of my 3-year program, had a different major in undergrad. Yes, yes, yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Glad you guys are here. So yeah, okay, so now let's get started. Y'all know I like to structure my lives. We gotta be in a little bit of structure because I get on here talking, honey, and we gonna get off. And I want y'all to enjoy your Friday night. So Lowe, I wanted to start this series because I wanted you guys to see a different perspective, right? Like, I went through grad school with the girls that you're going to see and somebody else that you're going to see as well at the end of the month. And I wanted you to get a different perspective. I don't know why it just came to me, but I'm glad it did, because it's like, you know, you're seeing my journey and that's cool, but my journey doesn't have to be your journey, and my journey is not clearly other people's journey either. For reference though, just for the rest of the night, if you have a question, make sure you you drop it in the little box with the question mark in it towards the bottom, like near where you would comment, so that we can check those later and before we get off. Okay, but so the first person that we have is clearly my friend Lowe. So introduce yourself. Go ahead, tell us about you.
Well, I am Ashley. I went to school at KC. I'm from Georgia. I live in Augusta. I'm a medical SLP, if we're gonna label it. I've been doing this for 4 years now, still learning, still growing, still a whole lot more. But you know what I know. And I don't know what else to talk about. Are we just
Did you say what setting you were in?
Oh, I am in the SNF setting, so I'm in the skilled nursing facility.
Yes.
Nursing rehab, we do therapy, we have short-term patients, long-term patients. So I do that. I work with adults and geriatric population.
Okay. So wait, so y'all don't, hold on, somebody said they don't see a question box. Does anybody else see a question box? Because I'm only seeing it.
I don't know if I'm it, but I don't have one either.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. No, it's right there. It says either way. If not, just drop your questions in here. We'll scroll up as much as we can. But okay.
Question about should I work as an SLPA first? I got you.
Okay. So, oh my gosh, that's a good question. Okay. Yeah. So nobody sees it. Okay, cool. So it's just me.
Oh,
I said, you know what?
I can add that. A little bit about me. So before I became an SLP, I was a SLPA in North Carolina. And I did that for about 3 years. I did it during grad school and up until I started my CF job.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to get into your journey in a second. But, hey, Ro. So anyway, I'm going to get into your journey in a second. Quick story on how we met, though. Clearly, we went to... I'm going to tell y'all this story real quick. I swear it won't be the whole thing. Now my mom texting me, girl, let me put my phone on not disturb.
I think I will.
Okay. So she said, Casey, are you live yet? Yes. Look at the flyer. Anyway. So when I got to grad school, and mind you, I didn't know nobody. I did not go to South Carolina State for undergrad. It was different. I moved to South Carolina from Charlotte, but I went to undergrad at Western Carolina University, then came to South Carolina State. PWI, HBCU. So there's a difference there. But I really didn't worry about it because I was just like, I'm gonna make friends with anybody. Like, who cares? Like, y'all gonna be my friends. You gonna be my friend today. So regardless, let me tell y'all this story. Lowe was like one of those people who was kind of quiet. She's kind of like, she's not quiet now, but she was a little reserved. She liked to like sit back and like, you know.
I said, I ain't making no friends. I was going to get in, get out.
Yeah. You went in thinking you weren't going to make no friends. And I was like, she going to be my friend. So basically, I walked in. I don't know what you had on. It was either you had something on or you had a bag or something. But I think it was something that I had asked you about it. And you were like, yeah, like you had said, so I asked you about it and you were like, yeah. I was like, yeah, because blah, blah, blah. You were like,
I do not remember that. Oh, okay, cool.
Girl. And I just laughed because I was like, she don't know yet. It's okay. So anyway, but that's how we met. So let me ask you about your grad school journey. Okay, so talk about admission. And did you apply to a whole bunch of places? Did you get into a whole bunch of places? Did you get in? Okay, here's a little 3-part question. Here you go.
Okay.
Did you apply to a whole bunch of places? Did you get into a whole bunch of places? And then did you get in immediately?
Okay, honey, listen. So I graduated undergrad in fall 2012. I didn't start grad school until 2014. So I applied to 2 schools. I applied to South Carolina State, denied, heartbroken. I applied to Nova Southeastern or Western. It's in Florida, denied, heartbroken. Okay, Lord, you know, whatever you got in store, I'm going to believe you. I'm going to trust you. I was like, I'll just continue working as an SLPA. I said, when I apply again, I applied to South Carolina State again. I was like, if I don't get in, I am going to take the GRE over because those scores were trash. I ain't going to lie. So I was like, okay, maybe it's my GRE score.
Bare minimum. You hear me?
I made it to I didn't even make it to the average. I was like down here. So, okay,
girl.
So I applied to in South Carolina State twice because I was like, listen, like y'all gotta love me and accept me because it's my alma mater. So after I applied the second time, I got in, and then I started in 2014. So it was a journey. I didn't get straight in, like.
Okay, and that happens, and I wanted you to talk about that because there's so many people who ask me so many questions just in general, and they ask about, like, they are so afraid that they're not going to get in. And I get it. I get that because I was afraid I wasn't going to get in. But at the end of the day, you are destined for the program that you're supposed to be in at the time that you're supposed to be in it.
Yes, because if I would have started grad school when I wanted to, I don't think I would have been as successful. Like I wasn't mentally ready at that time. So God orchestrated that thing out where I started when it was the best time to start. And then I was able to get lifelong friends. I knew what I was doing. I was working as an SLPA. So I was like, okay, things are starting to make sense. Like I'm connecting the dots, and it helped me to go through grad school a little bit here and know, like, okay, this is why we do what we do. This is what it's about. So it was the time for me to do it. Now, if I would have started on my time, I might not be before you, but
I'm before you today. All right. Exactly. Okay. So your experience. So let me just give y'all some context here. I think you guys know that when I was in undergrad, I did not get any practice. Like I went to school in North Carolina. So I don't know any other programs, but I didn't get any practice with therapy. And I think you guys saw that through that video, my first speech therapy session at State. And so I didn't have experience as an SLPA or anything like that. And when I got to State, I didn't even know there was so much I did not know, you guys, like I swear. And you remember that?
Yeah, and I don't remember a lot, but I remember this. I remember you was like, we didn't even do therapy at my
No. And I got to State and like I felt so behind. Y'all talk about imposter syndrome. Goodness gracious, like girl, I felt so behind because my classmates who had even been to State or been somewhere else, mostly everybody came from State though. Like everybody who had talked about experience in the clinic, they were like, yeah, they had already known so many things about therapy. And I knew nothing. I hadn't even been in a session on my own. So talk about whether you were you an SLPA? Well, yeah, you were an SLPA, but like how did that go? Like were you an SLPA in the time where you didn't have where you weren't in school, where you weren't in a grad program?
So I graduated in 2012. At first, I couldn't even get a job as a SLPA. You know, they can only take like 2 or 3 assistants. So when I reached out to my supervisor, well, the lady that I used to work for, she was like, well, I don't have an opening right now. Just continue to reach out to me. So I didn't start working until like springtime 2013. So from 13 to when is that right? Yeah, 13. When did we start grad school?
2014.
Yeah, so for that year and a half, like I was able to like get the experience. I was working with kids. I was working in the schools. So I got to see that. And that helped translate so much when I started the program. Like, yes. I needed that experience because I'm going to be honest, when I graduated undergrad, I really did not understand what all speech therapists do. Like, I was still like, what?
Right.
I didn't take it seriously until I realized I had to get 100 hours if I was going to do something. So then yeah, but I didn't take in everything that I should have when I was in undergrad. So when I was working, it really helped everything to click. It really helped everything to be like, okay, we are dope. Like, this is what we do, So it definitely helps. So can I answer that question real quick while we talking about it?
Yeah.
If you see, I would definitely do SLPA just to kind of gain that experience. It looks good on your resume too, but you learn so much, especially if you have an awesome supervisor. So, it's not a bad idea if you want to do that.
Right. And you know what else? When I learned about it, I was like, Dad, I wish I knew about this, because then I started looking up the requirements in North Carolina. I mean, I was in South Carolina at that point, so it didn't matter. But I was just like, I could have been an SLPA. And then really, I think all of you guys were SLPA. I think I was the only one. Right? I don't know. Desiree, if you still in here, tell me if you were an SLPA or not. But a couple of you were, and I was like, you said what?
I think a niece was too.
A niece was, okay. So I'm just like, I didn't know, and I was like, y'all are getting paid to do therapy? Like, I was just like, what? You know what I'm saying? I had no idea. Desiree said, not me. I had no idea. So, yeah, okay, so good. We answered that question. So now let's talk about how you made it through grad school. Let me tell you.
You can answer that question. You know how I made it.
So let me tell y'all. How we ended up becoming friends is that, honestly, if you think about our class, sorry y'all, our grad class, our class was a flat out fool. The username, they call me Dean, he is
one of our classmates.
He's one of our classmates. So it was just we were just not a mess, but just like
a mixture of great personality.
A mixture. And so we started off in these big study groups. Clowns, exactly. We started off in these big study groups that did not work. It just didn't work. Okay. It was too much going on. So but we all liked each other. Like, it wasn't like a thing, we all did that because we wanted to just get through it together. Like, nobody else, when you are in a grad program, nobody else really knows what you're really going through, like your classmates do. So it's like, y'all, if we're gonna make it, we might as well just band together and do this thing. So we started off in these bigger groups, and then they kind of just like naturally dwindled.
Yeah.
And eventually it was like, I think I remember eventually it was one exam we had. I don't know whose exam it was. Probably Dr. Jeffrey. But it was some exam we had, and then like after our classes were at night. So our classes were what was it, like 5?
Yeah, like 5:36 to like 7:30, 8ish.
Yeah, something. So anyway, it's one of those where you just walk out quietly and you just try to get to your car. Like, it's just like, it's behind me and there's nothing I can do about it now. You just try to forget about it. And so I think we had stayed around talking about it. I might have been talking to Desiree, and then like Raven came, and then like Lowe was there, and then we just ended up talking, and then it ended up being like a thing where like, oh, well, come over my house, come, whatever. So that's kind of how, go ahead.
Well, before that, we tried another group.
Yeah. Groups. We ain't gonna say all that, Ashley, but cool. Group.
I'm sorry.
Follow my lead.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, girl, you know what I'm saying? So like it just really didn't work out as much as we thought it would. But either way, we were still in like a really big group chat with our classmates and stuff like that. And I'll tell you some stories as this time goes on, as this month goes on. We'll tell y'all some stories through that that were hilarious. But how did you get through grad school? Like, how did you work during grad school? Like, what was going on?
Yeah, I worked. It was a lot of prayer, a lot of that, not the
Water.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah. Right.
and then y'all really helped. Like they think I would have made it through with the same. I started with the mindset of I'm gonna do this. I ain't talking to nobody. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do and get out of here.
Like, why would you even start with that mindset? I ain't talking to nobody.
When I was like, I waited too long. I ain't gonna miss. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I could focus. Y'all like finding a group of women that was on the same page. Like we clicked together. We were, study partners, prayer partners, all that. Like that really helped. Like through like mentally.
Yes.
I did work. I had to support myself, so I did that.
What did you do? What kind of work did you do?
SLPA.
Oh, okay, yeah, you were SLPA. Okay, cool. So yeah, I was gonna say that's something that I get asked all the time too. We had, yeah. I was gonna say that people ask me how I got through grad school all the time. I was actually gonna make it my caption to say like I got through because of my friends, like literally my friends, getting along with people I was classmates with, like we were just all in it together. And so that's literally how I got through, like literally. Okay, what about, I think we talked enough about like SLPA life, right? Don't you think?
I think so.
What I got going on here.
Do SLPA, just make sure you have a really good supervisor that's you, and not just like throw you out there to do the work. Yeah. Because you're not supposed to do all the work. Like they're supposed to be there. They're supposed to supervise you. They're supposed to make sure that you're straight. So, okay, yeah, now we're done.
Yes. Okay, cool. Let me see. So you are a medical SLP today. How did you end up becoming a medical SLP? Because you did SLPA with what audience or like what setting or population?
When I was at SLPA, I only worked with kids, like early intervention. I did elementary school, middle school, high school, daycares, all of that. So it's a private practice. So coming up to grad school, it's the time to start finding a job, like interviewing, applying. So I was like, okay, well, I'm moving back to Georgia. Let me just, go to this school system. Because you always hear, like, you have to start out in the schools. You have to, do that first and then go off and do other things. But
yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me just do that, knock it out, and then I can move on. So I applied, interviewed, got the job. I signed my letter of intent, and I was ready to go. Like, I was so happy. I was like, yeah, I got my first SLP job. Woo-hoo. Class, and the professor came in, and she was like, if there's anyone who's interested in the medical setting, put your name on this paper. So I wasn't going to sign the paper because I was like, I already got a job. You know what I'm saying? So I was literally just going to, like, pass it on. But then got to me, I was like, let me just, write my name down. So I wrote my name. Like the next class we had, she was like, Ashley, come here. So I went up to the front. She was like, there's actually an opening in Augusta. Are you interested? And I was like, oh no, I already got a job. And she was like, where? And I was like, school system. And she was like, oh no. So then she took the pen and the pad and she wrote down a real nice number on there. And,
okay.
I was like, oh, okay. So how do I get out of what I tried?
Right.
Right. Contract, and I was like, no, I just signed a letter of intent. So she was like, well, just respectfully send the email, decline, and then, we can move forward. And I felt confident about it because she had her hands in that company too. So she, you know, she wouldn't tell me to turn it down if she didn't have the door open.
Right.
I interviewed, and when I talked to the regional director, he pretty much was like, well, you got the job. When can you start? And I was like, well, I just graduated. Can I get like, you know, a couple of weeks? He was like, can you do like 2 weeks? And I was like, ooh. I said, okay, I'll move and come on to work. So that's how that happened. Because honestly, my last SLPA job, I worked for a school district. So I did elementary, middle, and high school. I did all three, and I was turned off. Like, nothing against it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. But that, I don't know me. So when that door opened, I was like, now this is what I want to do. Because, you know, we do like offsite, and I enjoyed it. Like, that was my favorite. So
Really?
it was like, oh, this is the medical, like, this is what I want to do, you know?
Right.
Now, when I was in the medical offsite, I ain't had no clue what was going on, but I enjoyed it because it was different. You didn't like
not want me to be a medical SLP. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So a little bit, something interesting that you said was that, like, how your professor basically put you on to the job and like the opportunity. And something I just personally want to say about South Carolina State is that the reason I say it was like such a life-changing experience for me is because one, I did go to a PWI, so I didn't see anybody who looked like me in the field. And I didn't even recognize how much of a difference that actually made until I started seeing people who look like me in the field. So like when I get to this program and the director is a Black lady and she's talking to me in orientation about telling us, you know, the infamous story about how you're going to be swimming them upstream and all this other stuff. And then I look over and all of the staff are these Black women and all my professors are Black and my supervisors are Black and like everybody's Black. And then you get to know them and they're like, yeah, I do this, but I also do this. I do this, but I also have my private practice and I do this and I do this. And I'm like, wait, what? You can do all of that? So like, I literally did not know until I got to grad school, like that those possibilities, like those were possibilities for me. And so then on top of the fact that like they cared about what happened to you after you graduate, they weren't just trying to get you in the program and get you out. You know what I'm saying? With a 100% pass score on the praxis. Like, you know what I'm saying? They really actually cared and connected with other people to get you into a position. You know what I'm saying? So
after I got my SLPA job, a professor was like, oh, okay, here, call this number. Like, so the next crazy because I can't speak for any other school, but at South Carolina State, like the professors know everybody. Like they know everybody.
Yes. Okay. So what does the average day look like for an SLP, a medical SLP who is in the SNF? When we say SNF, we're talking about the skilled nursing facility. So first of all, explain a little bit like what is a skilled nursing facility and then tell us what your average day looks like as an SLP.
Yeah. So a skilled nursing facility is people interchange it with the word nursing home, but we offer skilled services. So we have licensed professionals who can only offer that service, that health service. So for instance, RN, therapy, we're considered skilled services. So we have short-term patients, we have long-term patients. We see our short-term patients. The goal is to rehabilitate them, get them back home. When we see our long-term patients, normally they have a decline. So we're trying to get them back to baseline function, and then we let them go back. So a typical day, well, now a typical day is this.
Right. We'll get to that. Tell us what the typical day, tell us what the typical day is, work-wise.
Well, so my home buildings are the Augusta buildings, but I've been going to another building. when I was in Augusta, I would start at one building. You know, I'll look at my schedule. I'll hit the floor. I'll see who's up, who's ready. I'll see like who I have for that day, how many minutes I have them for. I'll see if like anybody has appointments to go to, or if I need to see somebody at a specific time, I will see them first. So I just kind of look at my schedule and plan out my day that way. And then I hit the floor, see my people. If I have like dysphagia patients to see, I'll definitely save them for around lunchtime, just depending on what we're working on. It's a lot of documentation. Documentation is it's key for any setting, but in the medical setting, for sure, it's very important that we document everything that we see, because we're dealing with people's health and their sicknesses and all of that good stuff. So a lot of documentation, a lot of collaborating with the nurses, the CNAs. Like, I ask them questions all day long. I know they get tired of me, but I'm gonna say, like, hey, what's going on? Like, seeing how he looking, good. Like, so I do a lot of collaborating with the staff. A lot of documentation, and then treatment. Some days are better than others. Like, the hours in the SNF aren't as consistent as with the school.
That right there, that right there. Before you continue, drop a 1 in the chat if this is helpful for you or if this is enjoyable for you. Drop a 1 in the chat so we can make sure we're on the right track here. But yes, that's the one thing that I remember from the offsite experience, was that, girl, that like my day was not the same every day. And
your day is not the same.
It was like one day I was like, it's 6 o'clock. Your girl, I gotta go home.
Yeah.
Like, no.
They're like, some days 12, and then some days I ain't getting home till like 6, 7. You know what I'm saying? So it really just depends. Like, we have what's called census. So that means how many people are in the building. So if census is low, like if we're not getting as many admissions in, you know, people aren't coming in, but they're leaving, like going to the hospital or going home, then census is low. So hours are lower. When census is high and they bring in like 2, 3 people in at a time, oh, I know I'm going home no time soon, because you're doing evals all day. So it really just depends. But like you say, no day is the same. The hours are not as consistent as with the school, because, you know, you have a set 8 hours with the school. You know, you're going in at 7:30. You know, you're leaving at 3:30. But with us, you don't really know what time you're going to leave. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. But it's very flexible. Like, I can go to work whenever I want to. Like, but I go in early because I want to get off. So, like, some days I get there at 9. Some days I go in at 8:30. Some days I roll in at 10:30. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? You know, so it's in that sense.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, no day is the same. It just.
Okay, so what's your favorite thing about it? What do you love most about what do you love most about being a medical SLP? And you said, and remind us again that what type of patients or what population that you deal with, and then what you love most about it.
Yep. So I work with adult and geriatrics. The youngest person I've treated, which was very like eye-opening to me, was younger than me. He was like 23. And the oldest person that I've treated is like 98. And I think I had a 100-year-old before. So it spans, but we get a lot of like 60-year-olds, a lot of 70-year-olds. I treat a lot of stroke patients, a lot of dementia patients at this building I'm at now, a lot of cognitive declines, just a whole variety of things. But what I like the most about it, when I get that patient who is like, I want to get better, and we work hard, and I can see like the fruits of my labor. I can see like, okay, you're definitely not what you were when you first got here. And they tell me, thank you. Like, I appreciate you. Like, that is my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
And I try to make connections with all of my patients for sure. So like now I walk down the hallway and I hear, hey girl, what you doing? And you know, like that makes me happy. And I was like, nothing, child, I'm trying to keep up with you. What you doing?
Right.
They smile and they laugh. Like, I love that part. You know, I love that part about the job, because some of them, you know, they come in like, I'm going home, but then it just doesn't work out and they don't go home. So I try to be that light. I try to be the joy you know, just trying to make their day a little bit easier. But I like when I can take a PED 2 patient who's not eating, not drinking because they can't, and then I'm able to get the PED 2 removed, and I'm having them eating and drinking. Like that,
Yeah.
they're like, okay, I am doing something
Yeah.
right. So I
Yeah.
like knowing that I'm making a difference for them.
Yes. Okay, so this is gonna kind of transition. I kind of know what you're gonna say for this period in time,
Mm-hmm.
but prior to this period, what was the toughest part about it? What is the toughest part? Was, I'll say, yeah.
I can. It's not. It's not always easy, but
Mm-hmm.
for me was transitioning, like changing my mind. Like, you know, when you go in, you're so used to like getting attached to people, and you're so used to like, I don't know, you're just used to pouring yourself out, right? So when you're in this medical setting, like a sniff, people come and go. Like you get attached to a patient and they pass away or they get sent to the hospital. So the hardest part for me was detaching myself, but not like taking away the love and the compassion, but like not being so, what's the
Yeah.
word, like, you know, that's
That,
that
I
that
guess. Yeah.
that was the hardest part for me. The
Yeah.
hardest part for me, I can give an example. When you have a patient who don't think nothing wrong with them, as far as cognition, as far as
Yeah.
they have a memory deficit or the stroke has changed their whole life. Like when I get those patients that don't think nothing wrong with them, that's hard because you have to play the game. You kind of have to change up the way you do things.
Yes.
That is the toughest part too. And then it's tough when you have, like, let's say that swallowing patient who really, really, really wants to eat and drink, and it's not safe to do so, and you do everything that you can to get them to that point, and it's not working. You know, like
Yeah.
no treatment is guaranteed to work. So you're pulling out the tricks, like you're pulling out your best bag of tools, and things just aren't working. It's not helping them, and so you're not able to progress them, and you feel like you failed. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
hard to when things just don't move in the direction that you wanted it to go in.
Yes. I
Trying to keep it short.
oh no, that's fine. I remember when I was in the SNF, I did the SNF for my offsite and in grad school. And I remember when I was there was this one lady who she was a cognitive patient, but she forgot where she was every single day. And like when I tell you she would panic, like she would panic and like ask the same questions and ask where like her daughter and her people were. And I remember thinking, this is so sad, like this is super sad. And there was another time where I went in again ready to go see somebody and he wasn't there anymore. And it's like, yo, like y'all are really messing with my emotions here. Like, let me go deal with these kids because
It's
I can't do this.
when I started, I cried, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like this is about being real. Like I cried almost probably every week to
Mm,
myself on the inside, outside. Like when I got home, like something was happening,
yeah.
and never forget this. I will never forget this. And now this might not be related to what we're talking about, but I got to tell the story. So this first month of me working there. Now in the sniff, the patients who, if they get outside, they can wander off or they'll, you know, like hurt themselves or anything like that. They have on what we call a wonder guard. So it locks the door to keep them from going outside just for their safety. So this lady rolls up to me. She's so nice, so sweet. Hey, baby, take me outside. Now, I'm a new person. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because I went in with the mindset of these are my elders. You know,
Right.
do what they say. So I was like, yes, ma'am, sure. And I'm rolling her outside. She gets to the door and she yells, I'm getting out of here. And took off. When I say I had to run after this lady before she went to the curb.
Last day. Not coming back.
I was
Done.
like, no. I said, what are you doing? I said, no, you have to come back inside. You have to come back. There's no town, it's us. I was like, you have to come back inside, please. And let me tell y'all something. Older people, they strong. These old little ladies, they are strong. So she's like holding on to the rail. She won't let me bring her back. Thankfully, like the nurses came out and they were like, let me help her, let me help y'all get her in. They finally got her to come in. It felt like eternity passed. When I tell you, after that, I went into the bathroom, boohoo cried, snap cried, like. So then
you better than me, because I would have went and got my bags and I would have been out. Here's my badge. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Goodbye. There's a school system waiting on me somewhere. Not today. Not never.
Guys, are you okay, Ashley? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, she's like, it's okay. And come to find out, she didn't have on the bracelet. So I felt better about that because they didn't do what they were supposed to do to keep
right.
I knew. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell me nothing about no bracelet. So
Right.
The hardest part for me was just switching my mind. Like, these ain't kids. These are like, you can't really do much with kids, but when adults start coming at you, I'll come back when you ready. Cause I ain't like you. Just like you talk to the kids, you gotta talk to adults the same way.
I'll wait.
So I had to do that. I had to develop some tough skin. I don't cry when it comes to stuff like that. Like, like you just switch up. You come into the fact of, okay, a lot of this is end of life type things.
Right.
You understand, like, we're not here forever. And then you get to the point really where you're like, do you want this person to suffer more when they get to that point? Or do you know what I'm saying? So you understand, like, the death process. You understand that it's not always like a horrible thing. Like, some of these patients, they're ready. Like, so it makes it, that was hard for me too. But that was a whole nother story. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so no, that's good. Okay, so let's talk about right now with the coronavirus. One of the questions that I got when I first put out my last video, my last video about things that you should ask your CF supervisor or whatever. Somebody was like, "Are you still able to get paid right now?" And I was like, "Thankfully, yes," because I work directly for the school district that I work for. And just in general, like, coronavirus has just literally changed the entire world. So, and people's work environments, work life, all of that stuff. Somebody has a question that says, do the adults ever get physical with you? Answer that first, and then answer, how has it been with the coronavirus? Like, just how has that been? Because just for y'all to know, Lowe is still at work. Like, she's still going to work day to day.
Yeah.
I'm at home, but she's at work. So, like, this is like for real people who are actually still out there. Healthcare heroes, hashtag.
Thank you. Okay, do the adults ever get physical? They try. Learn how to bob and weave. You won't let the child grab your arm. So
you sure won't.
You ain't gonna grab my arm either. What you doing? What? Yeah.
Right.
Adults ain't always nice. You know, when you go from being independent to your whole world flipping upside down to you know, being able to do everything for yourself, and now you got to rely on other people to do stuff for you, or you was eating ribs and steak, and then now you're on a puree diet, and they ain't. So, I
would be in a bad mood too.
They can be in a very bad mood. I would say this building I'm going to now has some of the nicest patients ever. Like, I've only had one person that was nasty. Everybody else has been sweet, but my buildings in Augusta, there's some nasty people. But you just learn how to do it. But when they go to grab and scratch and all that, I'll be back later. Don't worry about it. You got it. Because you ain't going to hit me.
You going to get the minutes? Just not right now.
Right. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
You grab their arm if you need to. You know, there's a thin line. It's only so much that we can do, so you just try not to let them do it. But some patients have, but it's not all the time. It just depends on if they have, like, behaviors and all of that stuff.
Okay, so what about coronavirus?
Ooh, Corona. Lord, happy when this goes away. Life definitely changed in the SNF setting. You know, things were free. You know, the patient could have visitors. They can come and go, you know, when they want to. But now we're kind of on a lockdown. They are not able to have visitors anymore. Family
Wow.
can't come see them. Friends can't come see them. Any vendors or activities that used to come in, like nobody can come into the building.
I didn't even think about that.
Nobody can come into the building except for us. If it's not a dire need, like dentist or, you know, eyeglass, like none of them can come into the building unless it's life or death. So just us, and then the doctors will come in from time to time, and then the hospice will come in. But the doors are locked. We can only use one entrance. When we come in, we have to get our temperature tested. We have to get screened. They,
Wow.
you know, are you coughing? Do you have any of these? Like, it's a list of symptoms that they have on the door. Are you experiencing any of these? If you say yes to one thing, you're going home. Like, when we're just not, you can't risk it.
Right.
We have to wear masks every day, all day. As you can see, this does not have a filter in it. This is just off. Because at first, we didn't even have like masks and stuff when this first happened. Like PPE, personal protection equipment, we just didn't have access to it. So thank God, like people in the community started making these for us. One of the physical therapist assistants, she knew somebody who made like a ton of them for us. So they gave us all like 5 to switch out, so we don't wear the same one every day. We can clean it, wash it. They want us to do all that. We have to care, you know, this is our friend. We had to take training on infection control. And we do that anyway. Like, you know, we do have to clean and disinfect stuff, but now it's like went from like 10 to like 1,000. National Guard has come in. They have like cleaned our facilities for us, top to bottom. I actually got tested for the coronavirus last week. Yes, not because I have it, but because the nursing home is such a vulnerable population, they're trying to do everything that they can to prevent the spread of it. So they tested all of the staff who wanted to be tested just to make sure we're not asymptomatic or, you know, that we have it and we don't know, because thankfully the building that I'm going to now, we're classified differently. So we're not accepting any like positive patients. So if they have it trying to come to our facility, they can't come. So
that's, I mean, you know,
it's good for us. And the only way that that virus can come into the facility is us. So if a patient gets it, they're getting it from us. They didn't get it from the community because they, you know, locked down, whatever. So they're just trying to be proactive to make sure that, you know, we do everything that we can not to spread it. You know, before all this, the residents were free to go like in the hallway, you know, hang out in the dining room. Like that's where most of them hung out, in the dining room. They would listen to music, socialize. Now everybody has to stay in their rooms. Like,
oh gosh.
yeah. And this has been going on since like March. So all of these adults and geriatric patients are confined to their rooms unless they're like a fall risk or they try to constantly get up and it's not safe for them to do so, then they get to sit in the hallway. But everybody else is in their room. And every so often they take them outside to get some fresh air. But it's just different. It's different.
Trying to do what was just said. Just about to do a job shadowing 2 SLPs until.
Yeah. And I had a grad student when this, she was in, we hadn't even gotten to the good stuff. Like we were just getting started. I had just told her, yes, next week we doing this. We're gonna work on your report writing. We're gonna make sure you're like we were getting ready to get into it.
Supervisor,
come on, girl.
Go ahead.
You know, I do what I can sometimes.
I mean, it's the girls.
So this, it's affected everyone. Like the virus came out, and then I got a text message that said students can't come back anymore. Tell your students that this is over. So I had to break the news to her, like, I mean, apparently, and this was before, I guess, this was before we all realized how serious this was too. So I'm like, why they shutting? This is stupid. People can still, but now I understand because it's just a heightened risk of her bringing it in. So yeah, I had to tell my students she wasn't able to come back anymore. The patients are wondering like where their family is, why aren't they visiting? They hoping they're all right because, like I said, there's a lot of dementia, a lot of cognitive deficit. So these patients aren't remembering that there's a virus out here. So you know, it's affecting everything. I've seen a lot of decline. That they're declining physically, mentally, cognitively because I mean, life has changed. In the SNF world, routine is everything for these patients, and now this virus has like changed their routine. So it's just tough.
Super sad. That's a really good question. In the SNF setting, we all work with SLPAs.
You have to have your C's to work in the medical setting just because of, I guess, like the caliber of what you're doing. So no, we don't work with SLPAs. Now, physical therapy, occupational therapy, they have assistants, but they don't allow SLPAs, and I don't know why, but
I've never seen that actually, so I wasn't sure.
yeah.
Okay. So we talked a little about the coronavirus. Y'all, just in case, I don't know how long IG Live gives us, but just in case we get cut off or anything like that, just come back in. We'll finish it up.
Yeah.
Just only have to talk about a couple more things. One, the juicy topic is compensation. So how is it? I mean, people ask me this all the time as far as they don't really be like, how much do you make? Because I mean, you know, but they always ask, like, is it worth the money? Do you like, you know, are you okay financially? Somebody had, and I don't know if she's on here or not, but somebody messaged me and was like, girl, I got expensive habits. And she was like, am I going to be okay as an SLP? And I don't know what expensive is to other people, but I have never had an issue with, I mean, you.
I ain't never had no trouble. I mean, I'm all right.
Oh, good.
I mean, hey, you know, I ain't out here to change. I think I'm doing pretty good.
All right. So, you know, so yeah, okay, cool. So let's move on because I don't want to get cut off. But compensation is good for you in this SNF.
I told y'all it made me change my mind.
Right.
That paper, I was like, all right. Thank you for the opportunity, but I respectfully decline. So yes, and then when I got my C's, like I negotiated what is it, pay raise or whatever.
Yep.
So,
me too.
And every year before things kind of, there's a new payment model. We ain't gonna get into all that, but we was getting a raise like every single performance review period. So I'm all right.
Okay.
You know, if you're comparing the settings, you don't want to do it for the money because, like I say, the medical side ain't easy. No side. You just gotta pick what you want, what your heart wants to be, or whatever. But you definitely don't want to do this for the money. But it is good money. It is more than the schools unless you contract in or negotiate your own pay. It's definitely more than the schools. But
yeah, definitely the schools.
It's a different kind of stress. If that makes schools is a stress. And that is a stress. So it's like pick your stress. You know, if summer's off, if you like, all the holidays off, then the schools is for you. But if you know what I'm saying, it's flexible. Like I can take off when I like, so the pay makes it okay. Like even when the caseload gets low, I'm still all right because the pay kind of compensates for like the low times and things like that.
Okay, let me see something really quick.
Okay.
If you guys are in here and you still like you have questions and you already typed your questions, I just don't want to get cut off. That's the only thing. So
somebody said it gives an hour.
And it gives an hour. So do y'all mind transferring? Like if we stop this one, start a new one, and put your questions in there, because at this point, that was like the last topic I had for her to talk about. And so at this point, I just want to answer questions. And then she's going to give some advice. I'm going to try my best to save this live. I know that's a question a lot of people ask me too. I'm gonna try my best to save this live. Hopefully, if I can save it, then hopefully I can upload it and just put it on my YouTube channel, because some people from there were asking about it. I'm gonna do my best, y'all, though.
I think if you save it on Instagram, it saves for like 24 hours or something like that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll save that. I'll save this, and then but let's go ahead, and I think I'm gonna end it. But I'm gonna restart it. Does everybody, so drop a, let's just for comprehension, drop a 2 in the chat if you understand that we're ending it for this live because we're gonna get kicked out eventually. And I don't want to get kicked out in the middle of answering your questions. So drop a 2 in the chat if you're gonna transfer with us, if you're gonna go with us, if you're gonna transition.
Okay. Come on, twos. Come on, twos. Y'all come back now, yeah?
Right. Yeah, I'll see if I can upload it to IG Live too. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this though, and I really want to, in this next one, we're going to do this next one, but like when we get back on here, we're basically going to talk about we'll start answering your questions ASAP, because I feel like that's going to take up the most time.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure you guys get out of this what I promised. But so we'll do that, and then Lowe is going to give a little bit of advice that she might have for undergrad, grad school, and CF, those who are about to start the CF or in their CF. Okay, so I got some 2, so we're transitioning. Okay, don't leave like completely. Come back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. How do you?